tiene que ser mayomero como yo.
Quiero que me dé la mano, tiene que ser negro fino,
blanco,
que me dé la
mano,
tiene que ser mayomero como yo.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
negro que me dé la mano, tiene que ser gallo fino, blanco que me dé la mano, tiene que ser gangulero como yo.
Negro que me dé la mano, tiene que ser negro
fino,
blanco que me dé la mano, tiene que ser mayomero como yo.
pero negro que me dé la mano, tiene que ser negro fino, blanco que me dé la mano, tiene que ser gangulero como yo.
Negro que me dé la
mano,
tiene que ser negro fino, blanco que me dé la mano, tiene que ser mayomero como yo.
Tiene que ser mayomero como yo.
Tiene que ser mayomero como yo.
Ah, tiene que ser mayomero como yo.
Tiene que ser mayomero como yo.
Negro que me dé la mano, tiene que ser negro fino, blanco que me dé la mano, tiene que ser mayomero como yo.
Negro que me dé la
mano,
tiene que ser negro
fino,
blanco que me dé la mano, tiene que ser mayomero como yo.
Tiene que ser mayomero como yo.
Tiene que ser mayomero como yo.
Tiene que ser gangulero como yo.
Tiene que ser mayomero como yo.
África nada más, África que estoy llamando,
África nada más,
África que estoy llamando,
África nada más,
yo te llamo y te llamo,
África nada más,
ay África te estoy llamando,
África nada más,
ay África qué linda eres,
África nada más,
ay yo te llamo y te llamo,
África nada más,
ay África, África mía,
África nada más,
África, África mía,
África nada más,
África te estoy llamando,
África nada más,
África, África mía,
África nada más,
África mía,
África nada más.
agua, Kisikima, agua San Miguel Candela,
Agua San Miguel Candela Brava,
agua, Kisikima, agua San Miguel Candela brava,
agua que se quema, agua San Miguel Candela Brava,
agua, Kisikima, agua San Miguel Candela brava,
agua que se quema, agua San Miguel Candela Brava,
Miguel, agua San Miguel, agua San Miguel, Candela brava.
Agua que se quema, agua San Miguel, Candela brava.
Y agua que se quema, agua San Miguel, Candela brava.
Agua que se quema, agua San Miguel, Candela brava.
Y agua San Miguel, agua San Miguel, agua San Miguel, Candela brava.
Agua que se quema, agua San Miguel, Candela brava.
Agua va a caer, arriba los seres que están coronando allá arriba.
Agua va a caer,
Arriba los seres que están coronando allá arriba.
agua va a caer,
Arriba los seres que están coronando allá arriba.
agua va a caer,
Arriba los seres que están coronando allá arriba.
agua va a caer,
Arriba los seres que están coronando allá arriba.
agua va a caer,
Arriba los seres que están coronando allá arriba.
agua va a caer,
Arriba los seres que están coronando allá arriba.
agua va a caer.
Maina, ye, maina.
Ye 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 maina,
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 Maina, chiche, maina.
ye 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 maina,
Maina, chiche, maina.
ye ye maina,
Chiche, maina.
ye ye maina,
Ku, maina. Maina, ku, maina.
ko maina,
Cuenta, maina.
ko maina.
Cuenta, maina.
Where are you, Juan J? I can't see you on the link that I sent you, brother. I'm looking for you on the other link. You have to log on to that link that I showed you. It'll bring you on to Facebook and YouTube. I sent you a link on Facebook. Well, good morning if it's morning, good evening if it's evening, and good night if it's night. And a big hearty salam alaikum to each and every one of you that's listening to us live or that will be listening to us in archives. Well, guys, I am waiting on our guest. I think he left Instagram and came to join us on this broadcast that we have today. Brother, what is going on with you? Salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam. I'm trying to figure out. Listen, there's old school and then there's slow school, man. I'm in slow school.
Bro, you know what? I am part of both communities. So, we're trying our best to multi-screen on all platforms. I don't know if you have another device that maybe you would like to log in on Instagram, because I promised. Okay, good. Are you on Instagram?
Yeah, I just sent you the request.
Okay, let me see. Yes, there we go. There we go. Let me see if we come on now. It'll take a couple of seconds. It'll take a couple of seconds. Let's let this thing come on in here. Everybody's saying happy Friday. What's going on? You have to turn off the sound on one of them.
There we go.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, much better. I can still hear a little echo, but it's not as bad. Okay, how about now?
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine, but we hear an echo in the background because I think that you may have the sound on a little bit too loud on your Instagram. Yeah, you can just cut off the sound on your Instagram at all. I mean, all of it, and then you'll be able to see. Yeah, just cut off.
Momento.
Oh, hello? Okay, it's gone.
Yeah.
No, it's not gone. It's not gone. It's still there.
Is there a way to
Yeah, just mute it. Mute Instagram. Because they'll be able to hear you on mine.
Yeah, it's not letting me do that on the iPad. That's what I'm having trouble with.
Fucking iPads. Pinche iPads. Like my friends on the other side of the border may say. A whole lot better, brother. Nah, we can still hear it. I can still hear it, and probably the people that are listening can probably still hear it too. What you have to do is just cut off. What you have to do is cut off the sound and listen to it through your ear pad, to your earphone, to whatever the fuck you got on your ears.
Can I exit me from the iPad, and then I won't enable the mic?
That's what you got to do. No, well, actually, not the mic, but my sound, because you want your listeners to be able to.
Right, but it's not letting me. I lower the volume as much as I can. You're still picking me up.
Yeah, I'm still picking you up. I'm picking myself up.
It gave me the option of enabling mic and camera. So let me exit from the tablet. Should have got a Samsung. You crazy. Come on, Craig. Let me exit the Instagram on the tablet, come back in with just the camera.
Okay, go ahead and do that.
I'm thinking that'll work. I sent you another request.
Hayes Bidet said you should have got you a Samsung tablet.
Yeah, he bugging. That's Craig. That's Craig.
Yeah, Craig. Yeah, it also says put earphones on. Yeah, that would be a whole lot better. Hello? I can still hear myself, bro.
Yeah, it came back on. On you.
That's a hell of a big cigar, brother. All right. So this is what we're going to do, guys. Okay, I can't hear it anymore. I can't hear you either. I can't hear you. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but I can also hear myself. Well, you know what, man? Let people fucking deal with it, bro. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, so what can we do? This is technology. So first of all, brother, salam alaikum, how are you doing?
Malaikum salam. I'm chilling, you know.
Chilling.
I'm chilling in four corners like everybody else, you know. Todo mundo está cerrado. We're all stuck.
Right.
I mean, check this out.
Well, listen, look at this camera. Don't look at that camera. Right there.
Okay.
Yeah, look at that camera. Okay. The other one's crazy to see you from the side.
Oh, got you. What's crazy is, as you know, I work corrections, right? So everybody's in quarantine. So right now, the only time I get to go out is grocery store or the prison.
Right. Wow.
Usually people are in prison they used to have a furlough, you know, go home for the weekend or something, have some time off. My time is the opposite. Right. My time off is going to work.
Wow. Now that's crazy. That is crazy. Some people say that you're muted, but I can hear you just fine. Guys, can you guys hear him? Okay, you should be fine. Okay, you sound fine over here. Okay, everybody's saying you sound fine. Okay, Juan. All right. I know that you have thousands of people that know you, right? But a lot of my followers don't know who you are. Okay. First of all, you, my friend, are a spiritualist. You are an initiate into Palo Mayumbe, and you're initiate into Ocha or La Regla Ocha, Lukumi. But a lot of people don't know who you are. Okay, you just said that you work in corrections. Okay, and I'm going to say a story about that type of stuff later, because but anyway, what I want you to do is tell people who Juan Gonzalez Sr. is.
Wow, that's a tough question. I don't even know.
Well, you should know it. You should be able to tell me a little bit about yourself and what people know about you.
Well, basically, yeah, I'm Juan G. Born and raised in Connecticut. ethnic background, Boricua. Both my parents are from the Isla. I got initiated into Palo in 2014.
Right.
Palo in the Palo Briumba sect.
Right.
But going back, I'm not a person. I'm not like my boy Sansista. Sansista's got a memory that dates back to the times of dirt. Not even the Stone Age, the times of dirt.
Right.
I don't have that type of memory. My memory is selecioso. What I mean by that is it's very selective.
Right.
It's funny because I can get on topics that are like deep and esoteric knowledge. Yeah, I can't tell you what I had for breakfast 2 days ago.
Right.
Just simple things, crazy. But my spiritual background, I was born and raised in a house of espiritismo.
Right.
Where we constantly had misas within the families. Whether my parents were hosting or we went over to my aunt's houses, and understand that this was on both sides of the family, my father's side as well as my mother's side.
Right.
As far as spiritualism and spirituality, the Ocha part came in through my mother's side. It started with my aunt. My mother has 8 sisters.
Oh Lord.
And this one is number 2. This is the second oldest. And she started the tradition within the family with Lupimi or Regla de Ocha. And she's crowned Yemaya. So my mother eventually got initiated as Omo Shango, and her mother being Oshun. So I started to learn Ocha through my mother's side of the family. No one that I'm aware of on my father's side ever touched foot with Palo or Ocha. So a lot of my spirituality strongly comes from my mother mainly.
Right.
Like I said, my mother practiced espiritismo. She got initiated in Palo Briumba. I followed her footsteps. And then in Ocha, I got initiated. I finally did Santo in 2016. I actually went to Cuba, to Centro Havana, and got initiated there. Agayu, but the ceremony is called Shango Orupa Agayu.
Right.
So, and then Oshun, the same Oshun path that my mom has, Ololodi, is labeled my feminine power or my mother.
Right.
So, so as far as spirituality in itself, for me, it's been an on and off journey.
Right.
And what I mean by that, Tata, is that when I was 4 years old, I remember that we lived in Dean Drive in New Britain.
Right.
And I always had vivid dreams and so-called nightmares.
Right.
Being Boricua, we all heard of Ekuko. My vivid dreams were, I actually felt, can you hear me?
Yes, of course. I can hear you just fine. And our listeners are also listening.
My dreams were so vivid where I used to have dreams with creatures. And I could actually, in some of those dreams, it was so vivid as if I can feel them biting me. Because there was a time where I would put my hands behind and I would feel my fingers getting bit, And I used to always see, to me at that time, I thought they were ghosts. I used to see these human images, but I couldn't see their face. It was just somebody standing there.
Right.
And at that time, my parents used to say, it was a bad dream, and then they would make fun later that Papa was always dreaming with Cuco. Because, by the way, my family nickname is Papo. So, if somebody calls me Papo, now I'm putting the name up, but if somebody calls me Papo, I know they're from my childhood or from within the family construct.
Right.
So they would make fun that, you know, Papa was sleeping with Cuco again.
Mm-hmm.
As I started to get older, they became clear images. But what was weird though, even though we grew up in Epiritimo, for whatever reason, my family didn't embrace it strongly, where they sat down and would explain, you know, esto lo que es. It
Right,
was
this is
just
what it
more
is.
of,
Mm-hmm.
it was more about rules of how you're supposed to behave during a misa and stuff like that.
Right.
You know, so
Well, you got to think
think,
about it. You know, when I was a child, I thought as a child. So I often hear people say things like, you know, my great grandmother showed me how to do some work when I was a kid. And that's fucking bullshit, because you teach children as children. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of children, when they come into these spiritualities, are taught rules. This is what you can do, and this is what you fucking can't do. All right? This is what I expected. They're not sitting down there giving you fucking work. They're not. Okay? Because you just don't teach children adult things. As they say, los muchachos hablan cuando la gallina mean. You remember that? Children speak when chickens piss. When the fuck does a chicken piss? You don't fucking see it. It's like a mixture of shit and piss and all this kind of stuff. So you shut the fuck up. Right? So I do understand where you're coming from that type of background. You understand? And most of the time, it was muchacho, échate para allá, you know, get out of here, you know, or if you're gonna be here, you're gonna sit here and you're gonna be fucking quiet.
Right. You sat there and you existed in to be forgotten, meaning that mom had to forget that you was there.
Right.
That's how quiet you had to be. You didn't move. You didn't say a damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
She actually forgot you was there.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, you bring up that excellent point. Tata, is my message is, I want people to understand that it's okay to have your experience. You don't need to fit into this psychic, espiritista, brujo, witch mold that you had this same experience / upbringing. Because like you said, you hear that a lot from certain people. My abuelita, my grandmother showed me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, I'm not going to doubt you. I'm not going to call you a liar. But from as many people that we've come across, you kind of know, like, you know what, that's not common. So I don't know why X amount of people try to make that common.
Right.
Then you have, you know, our sister Ifa Bello was talking a few days ago about an experience that she've had with 3 others, and somebody else is claiming the same experience. And she was like, where the fuck was you at? Like, I don't remember seeing you. Because people copy. They take your experience and then they go off saying, oh yeah, I went through this, I went through that. And it's kind of like, and what I'm saying is, don't do that. It's okay.
Right.
It's okay. You know, there's certain things that people went through, but be you, be authentic.
Right.
You know, be authentic, and your understanding will grow, will be clarified. Your knowledge will expand, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But just be you. It's okay.
Right. And as my friend the Baba said the other day, he says, man, listen, it's okay to be a beginner. It's perfectly fine to be a beginner. You know, it's okay to take those baby steps. It's okay to experiment and to fuck up, because a lot of people fuck up in the beginning, bro. All right. It's okay. All right. But don't give yourself these titles. Don't give yourself these attributes that don't really belong to you. You understand? They do not belong to you. These experiences are not shared experiences. These are experiences that everybody sees from their own point of view, and you know, everybody who's lived their own experience. But you know what? I want to talk about a little something else. Because a couple of years ago, okay, you would not hear people say like yourself that you're in corrections. I know several gentlemen that are in corrections and that are in law enforcement, even in the medical field, that happen to be in the ATRs and DTRs. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little story. a couple of years ago, I went to a tambor in Miami. I went to a tambor in Miami, and I walk in there, and the person that I'm with, I tell, man, I don't know, man, but all these motherfuckers look like cops. He said, I was like, man, I had no idea that so many people in law enforcement, so many people in corrections, so many people in the medical field were actually part of the ATRs. Okay. Many of them, it is because of upbringing, and some of them is because of all the shit that people have thrown on them. Okay. And you see these days, you go to somebody and, you know, somebody comes to you some type of legal problem, right? And, coño, this shit is not working. What's going on? What's going on? You know, I'm trying to hex this police officer. I'm trying to get this fucking dude to go with, you know, to stop these charges and all, and it's not fucking working. I mean, 8 times out of 10, this dude is in the same shit we're fucking doing. And a lot of people don't realize this, right? And it's funny to me because a couple of years ago, people would not talk about it. They would not talk about it. I mean, but now, you know, the same way they're able to wear a cross, I've seen police officers with ideas, with their thing from Obatala. I'll be like, oh, coño, that's santero.
Oh, see, everday, yep.
Yeah. So I've seen it. So what do you think has changed the narrative now these days that people like yourself, that's a correctional officer, can say, hey, man, listen, I am part of this spirituality. You know what I'm saying? I am not hiding it. And I know it's a hard question.
I think actually the way it's hard in the sense that it's not fair for myself, or I think anybody, to really put a thumbprint on it, on how it actually happened. But I think it's part of society changing in itself. You know, growing up in the 80s, right? In the 80s, you had the movement where everybody wanted to sort of be the same. You had the big hairstyle. Every girl wanted the big hair, you know? And then the 90s is when it started to branch out. Some people started to look back. In the 90s was what? Motown. People were bringing Motown feeling back in the music industry. So people started looking in the past, started looking at roots.
Right.
So from the 90s into the millennium is where it was be yourself, be you. You had a brand, who you were. So some people fabricated fantasy as who they was, who their reality is. Some people went into their ancestry and honored that. So in religion or spiritual practices, it evolved the same way, where the pride, it wasn't so much of, for example, the I forgot the acronym, but the lesbian gay movement, pride, that was moving forward. Well, that happened. Remember, there's lesbians and gays in every religion and spiritual practice. So that whole mentality moved forward of, I'm proud to be who I am. And the thing about these spiritual practices, such as palo, whether it's palo Kimbisa, palo Briumba, whatever, palo's palo.
Right.
In a sense, in a general sense. I don't want to. And Ocha is, these religions were masked. They were hidden.
Right.
So it finally came to a point where, no, we're showing it. And then I know Sancisa can pull the dates. Back in Florida, you had the court case. With
with Ernesto Pichardo.
Right. So that kind of gave people also, I don't need to hide, man. We're protected by the law. So, so F y'all mothers that don't believe. So I think that was part of it. The religion itself is always going to evolve because at the end of the day, people are people.
Right.
And back then, you had people that were charlatans, people that were fakes. You still have them now.
Right.
The difference is how they were handled.
Right.
You know, back then you were publicly punished. You know, people in society, I'm not gonna say they stoned you to death, but you'd get a beat down.
Right.
You'd get flogged, you know, for being false. Nowadays it's a bit different, and a lot of that is because of, you know, legalities and stuff.
Mhm.
But that also leads me to one thing, Tata, is that I want to tell people is don't break your head and don't hold yourself back from worrying so much about losing. And what I mean by losing is you pick a padrino or madrina, you pick a mentor, and you don't get everything that you're looking for. Number one, nobody can give you everything. Those are the people that live fantasy, that want to sit there and praise their padrino madrina as if they was God. Listen, God ain't on earth.
Right.
Not in that fashion.
Right.
Okay? You're not shaking hands with God. Okay? But don't be afraid, because every person has their ashe, their limit.
Right.
You know? The greatest teacher you can have is one that allows you to always learn.
And to outgrow them.
And understands that, you know what? I'm your teacher for what I can teach you. And where I can be the master is allowing you to say, you know what? Listen, you need to learn this. Go see Fulano. Go see Tata Candelo. He can show you that. You know? That's a true teacher, because a true teacher is always a student first. Has to always be willing to learn, has to always respect the aspect of learning.
Mm-hmm.
Once you stop respecting the aspect of learning, you're not a teacher. Tú eres egoísta.
You're
you know?
Yeah.
And the number one enemy of spirituality is ego.
Is the ego. You're absolutely right. The number one enemy of spirituality is the ego and the God complex. Okay? To thinking that you are better than anybody else and that spirit somehow favors you over everyone else. Okay? And yes, that I must agree with you with 110%. Okay? A little while ago, we were talking about spirituality and about espiritismo. All right. And we all know that back in the days, espiritismo was a little bit closed-minded. Although we were at a forefront of a lot of stuff, we were, you know, there was a little bit of closed-mindedness into it. Okay?
Yes.
Especially in the Kardecian way of working spiritualism and other things of that sort, where people back when Kardec was alive would say that, you know, these other spirits that are around us are of lower vibration. Okay. And now we just understand that a lot of them are from other dimensions. Okay. Let's talk about Palo for just 1 second. Okay. We all know that in Palo, there are these little things that they call chivirikus. All right. Or chichirikus. Right. If someone were to explain this to a normal person, they would say, man, are you crazy? Little black dudes that are really jet black and have red eyes and have, you know, sharp teeth and are mischievous and all this kind of stuff there, right? And a lot of people would say, no, that's not an evolved spirit, right? If someone were to say something about, let's say, trolls, which are from other spiritualities, or elves, or even fucking phoenixes, or some things that actually shift from one animal to another. And a lot of these spiritualities, and a lot of people were closed to these entities, but now we know them as astral spirits or espíritus astrales, all right, that are in your spiritual DNA, right? But a lot of people don't have an understanding of these things, okay? As being an open-minded person, which I know you are, what are your thoughts on that?
That's a great topic.
And we'll probably have a whole other show about it.
It's a great topic, and that, okay, how can I say this? That is sort of what defines my teachings and understanding. For example, when I said that it's okay to be different, I didn't have a padrino or a madrina that sat me down and gave me classes, that sat me down and says, you know, te voy a decir una cosa, let me tell you this, so on and so forth. I didn't have that.
Me neither.
My learning came from it, and this is where the envy comes in from some. Because today's student, let's say, the minute you say something as a tata, the minute you say something as a santero, they're Googling or they're looking through a book to quote unquote verify your truth.
Right.
Okay. Now, understand that, yes, people that wrote books, that's their perception, that's their viewpoint.
Or their understanding of such said topic.
Right. And in some of those books, there's nothing but garbage. In some of those books, there is knowledge. What led me a lot was I always asked my guys to show me. So, for example, when I opened the book, Spirit always talked and would literally highlight what I needed to know in the page and what was garbage.
Right.
So what was highlighted stuck. I understand not everybody has that.
Mm-hmm.
But going forward, Spirit taught me that what everybody calls God, what everybody calls these deities and espíritus, it is energy.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to understand energy, and not in the scientific literal sense, but you need to understand what is energy, la energía. When you understand what energy is, then everything will make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Everything will literally make sense no matter what tradition you follow. So when you start looking at different beliefs, you can see, okay, I see how that works. And then you can see where the dogma comes in, and you're kind of like, nah, I ain't messing with that.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes, yes, it's finding that, I don't know what word to say, but it's finding that certain phrase or coining that certain phrase that unlocks everything. And for me to answer that question it's energía, is energy. When you understand energy, you will understand how things manifest. Because one question is, where you would get 1,000 different replies, is you ask anyone, how do you define spirit, or what does spirit mean to you?
Right.
And you will get those, usually you will get those mundane questions, you know, of spirits. Most people believe spirits are just of light. Los espíritus son de luz. And those that don't have light, they're low energy and they're bad spirits. No. Good and bad is behavior.
Right.
Behavior comes from what? Consciousness.
Right.
Now, consciousness is level of thought. There are bad spirits that are highly intelligent. People make the biggest mistake
right.
thinking that spirits que son malo or that are bad are dumb as fudge, and you can school them.
Right.
No. Okay. There's levels. The levels of so-called ascension is level of understanding. There are bad spirits that are highly intelligent. When you think about this, just look at the human aspect. How many humans that were mass murderers,
right,
that were cannibalists, but were highly intelligent,
right,
that were quote unquote successful in life, yet they did things that we consider to be evil.
right.
That was simply something that they decided to do, but their level of intelligence was not low.
Right.
So for me, what I've learned is spirit, the definition of spirit means conscious energy.
Right.
Basically energy that thinks. So when you understand that, you can understand that, number one, there's no limit to spirit because there's no limit to energy.
Right.
Energy constantly transforms.
Mm-hmm.
There's no limit. So the only thing that has limits in spirituality is religion.
Mm-hmm.
Because religion has rules. And within those rules, you're going to have a limit applied. In spirituality itself, there is no limit. There's only consequence.
Mm-hmm.
You deal with what you manifest.
Mm-hmm.
So, I used to get the same mundane answers of, about the trolls, about the Digins, as if these were made up lack of understanding spirits, when it was like, no, you lack the understanding.
The understanding.
Not those spirits. That's the key aspect. So I guess yes, it's important to keep an open mind, but it's important to seek what they call universal truth or universal understanding is something that applies to all.
Right.
So when you look at it in that aspect, energy applies to everything. You can't argue that.
Right.
So that's one thing that guides me in learning and understanding this universe, this life and how we are. One thing that helped me a lot for my self-guidance, because I made the mistakes, Tata, where I was told, Ete Tata, Tata so-and-so, who we're both aware of, he knows this, he knows that. And a lot of people fear this person, this or that. And later on, you know the truth.
Mm.
Same thing in Santo and Ocha. Same thing. There's constant people that they build up a certain level of credibility. What brings people down through credibility? Once again, ego.
Right.
There are people that, yes, they have the faculties that, as we say, tienen la bendición, tienen un ashe, they have a don, where they're able to look at you, they listen to spirit, and they can read you like a book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they help you out. But then they develop that ego. Remember, when it comes to spirituality, spirit, or energy, like attracts like. So spirits that are elevated in consciousness do not have ego nor associate themselves with ego. So the minute that you become egoistic, there's the separation.
Mm-hmm.
So that what you call loose that you have starts going away. So now the person that was credible in giving readings, in giving cleansings, and helping people progress, they start to lose that check, because what can be given, yes, can be taken.
Yes.
Don't be fooled by that. What can be given cannot be taken. Bullshit.
Right.
No, that's the number one thing. Lo que Dios te da, Dios te puede quitar.
Right.
That doesn't change.
You're absolutely right. Well, let's take a little break. Let's play a little bit of music and let's keep on this conversation, because the damn show is getting good. I see a lot of people are joining us through Facebook, through YouTube. I don't know what's going on with Facebook, because most of the things I'm getting here are through no, actually we're not live on Facebook.
Yes, I'm getting messages that we're not. And when I was trying to go on earlier, and I was trying to figure out how to share it to Facebook from Instagram. Okay,
now we're live on Facebook. Okay, because I see most of the things, most of the responses we were getting were live from YouTube. Okay,
I just got the notice.
Yeah, so we just put it on right now. We just came on live on Facebook, guys. I'm sorry, I'm learning this. Give you a little time, guys, to share it on Facebook, to share it on all stuff. And let's play a little bit of Milton Cardona. And yes, we are live on Facebook, guys, now.
Merevo timbo lote, merevo timbo, merevo timbo lote, merevo timbo, ebioso merevo timbo lote, merevo timbo huelea. Timbo lote, merevo timbo lote, merevo timbo, ebioso merevo timbo lote, merevo timbo. Ah, merevo timbo lote, merevo timbo. Merevo timbo lote, merevo timbo, nervioso merevo timbo lote, merevo timbo huelea. Merevo timbo lote, merevo timbo lote, merevo timbo, nervioso merevo timbo lote, merevo timbo huelea. Ah, merevo timbo lote, merevo timbo, me levo timbo lote, me levo timbo, nervioso me levo timbo lote, me levo timbo huele. Me levo timbo huele. Me levo timbo huele. Me levo timbo huele. Se sale, pues Dios, se sale, coloco. Allá no parece sale, pues Dios, se sale, coloco. Allá no parece sale, pues Dios, se sale, coloco. Allá no parece sale, pues Dios, se sale, coloco.
Wow. So I was just saying to myself, man, I'm going live and I only got 20 people in here. I don't know what's going on. But what happened was that we were not live on Facebook, brother. So, you know, everybody who didn't hear the first part of the conversation, I tell you, please go on when we're finished and go back to YouTube and catch it on YouTube. Or we will be actually, once it clears through YouTube, I'll be sharing the whole entire interview on our talk, because it's not really an interview. We're going to be sharing our talk on Facebook. So thank you all for chiming in, guys. I am so sorry. Like I said, this is a brand new platform that we're working out. I know it looks great. I know everybody loves it. The fact that we're able to put everybody's stuff on the actual feed, guys. So if you guys on Instagram are feeling that you're missing something, guys, please do follow us on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube. It's a whole better experience, actually. And I just do it on Instagram because someone told me the other day, says, you're acting just like an old man. I said, what do you mean? You only want to scrape through fucking Facebook. All the young people on Instagram. And I said, okay. So, Erica Taylor is on. Erica, I got to tell you, baby, that TikTok that you did, the spiritual groups, mama, that was fabulous. Everybody that I know liked it. They're sharing it all over the place.
Hilarious.
Guys, if you guys are not following Erica Taylor on Facebook and all of her social media platforms, please do follow her. But the only thing is that she has it backwards. Instead of Erica Taylor, she has it Taylor Erica. She did a very good TikTok that was fucking actually very damn awesome. All right, brother. I noticed that you have a whole bunch of Alekis on. Okay. And I know that you have Ocha. I know that you have Paulo. I know that you have several things. Okay. A lot of people these days tend to tell people, you know, oh, why are you wearing so much Alekis? I mean, especially when you're initiated. Oh, you can't wear those Alekis if you go to a club. You can't wear those Alekis if if you're doing XYZ. Okay. You can't wear these Alekis because of this and this and this. Your Alekis should be inside your shirt. They should be hidden from everyone. Well, my thought is this, okay? If these Alekis are part of your spiritual cord or your spiritual practice, right? They are also for a form of protection, right? So I tell people all the time, I say, well, you're going out to a bar or to a club, right? Don't you need your fucking protection there? Don't you need your protection there? You're going to go out and do some illegal activity, whatever it may be. I'm not saying that people need to be doing illegal activity. It's not my fucking problem. I stay in my fucking lane. You shouldn't be wearing those alekis. All right. And I want to tell everybody, first of all, okay. First of all, this is a thing of protection. But not only that, this is a sign of identification. And people, oh, what do you mean identification? Yes, it is identification. Because by the way that certain beads are formed on certain alekis, it tells you what house, what thing is it going through, okay? It tells the person what actual orisha or what things actually you have, okay? So there's a whole stream of things that have to do with alekis. That's just not for show. It's just not for a multitude of things that people say, okay? By the number of alekis that a person has, a person knows how many orishas the person also has, especially if they are crowned or orisha, okay? Whatever a person wears on his wrist, okay? That's a form of identification, all right? If you look right here, you can see that right here there's red. Oops, sorry. Right here there's red. And in the middle, there is blue and white. All right? So what does that tell somebody? Well, that I am crowned Chango with Yemaya, right? Now, we all see that I have more than just the one thing, okay? I have 8 of them on, right? One is a Watala, and the other ones are Yemaya. Now, this one right here that happens to be curved. You see that one? Wanji? The one that is curved.
Oh, the braided one, yes.
The braided one. Okay. So that one, you will be able to say that, right? You know that it's Ochosi. If you see someone with something else, you'll be able to know if they're a child of Oya, of Oshun, or whatever. So a lot of people don't want to say that these things are also in a visual stand for an identification marker for other priests of the same sex. Could you agree with me on that?
Yes. You love to pick some broad topics, brother. As I say, a child, you love to swim in the deep and fish in the ocean. Well, when you talk, you had a IDES, right? IDES, right? Is basically ID. So when you put up your wrist and you had the red, can you show it again for everybody?
Yeah.
The red, that's called. It's kind of confusing. That's called an IDE, right?
Right.
De Ocha. Then there's IDE de Orisha.
Right.
IDE de Orisha is like the single one is Obatala.
It's Obatala.
When you have 7 of the ones that you have on, that's for Yemaya. So when somebody sees that, they know, okay, he has Yemaya because he's wearing. So he's definitely crowned because Yemaya is not an Orisha that you receive without being crowned.
Right.
Or as they say in the religion, it's not an Orisha de Adimu.
Right.
Ochosi you have, which was the braided. When you see that, not everyone receives Ochosi.
Right.
So when Santero sees that, Santero knows this person has received Ochosi. So what happens is when you're looking at people that like to be secretive, they won't wear it because they don't want to show that they have that level of protection. Okay? But the Idea de Santo, the Ocha, the one that you had, the red and white with the blue, that was, from my understanding, that was the traditional marker that meant that you were a priest. Nowadays, it's a fashion statement. There's people that wear it because they like it as jewelry, so on and so forth. But the point of that idea was to mark that you had Ocha. So those that were aborishas, that they don't even use that term anymore. Aborisha is the person that receives elekes and starts to worship the santos, the saints,
Right.
the orishas. That's an aborisha. Nowadays, everybody just calls you aleyo, and aleyo means outsider.
Right.
So the problem within the religions, and I say religions because of Lukumi, Regla de Ocha, because of Palo, is there's a lot of incorrectness being spread.
Right.
A lot of words being used out of character.
Right.
So aleyo means outsider.
Right.
Aleyo is a person that is not in the religion at all, has no clue,
Right.
but is looking.
Right.
You know? So nowadays they call everybody an aleyo that's not crowned. These people
Right.
have olokun in their house. They have the abegis, they have collares, elekes, and they're calling them aleyos, which is a form of disrespect.
Right.
But going to your original saying when you started talking about elekes, how people saying you shouldn't wear them here or there. I'm the kid of why. I always say there should always be a why, and why is not a disrespect. Why is how you gain knowledge. Okay? When you gain knowledge and through experience, you have wisdom. So then you know when you should be wearing a certain collar.
Right.
And why. But at the end of the day, it has to do with, once again, energy. When you were talking about the different color patterns, why the different colors? Because the colors have to do with energy.
Right.
Energy, vibration of energy. So there has to be a purpose / understanding of everything that you're doing. So if you're putting on an elect, if you went to a botanica, which is very prevalent these days, people shop at botanicas, and a lot of botanicas have the collares hanging up in rows, and it looks pretty because you see a bunch of colors, and there's people that go and buy those. Oh, this is of Shango. They buy it $7. They buy this Yemaya and they put it on, and they're walking around with a bunch of elekes. So naturally, some people would think this person is initiated.
Right.
You're sending a false message, number one, to those people. But what you're doing at the end of the day as well is you're disrespecting the orishas, because those necklaces are meant to represent the orishas. Now, here's another. Let me switch channels a bit. So you have on this side Lukumi, right?
Right.
Regla de Ocha, which started in Cuba, right? From the transatlantic movement, let's say. Where did they come from?
People just keep on giving me gifts. I'm sorry.
You have on this hand, you have Africa, right? The motherland.
Right.
On this hand, in Africa, elekes are worn not by priests. They're worn by people that worship or give honor to that specific orisha. Because in Africa, it was by village or sex. So in this village, in this sex, meaning this section of town, they had one ruling orisha. Oh, that's cool. They had one ruling orisha.
Oh shit, I'm over here.
And that's all stitched down, huh?
Yeah, it's actually done by hand.
Nice. Is that, hold on, that's your goddaughter Deidre? I think is that the one she made?
Yeah, she just brought it to me right now.
Ashe, Deidre.
She said, he says, Juan G says Ashe.
Ashe, Juan.
Come on over and say hi to everybody. Hey guys, this is Deidre. Get down. This is Deidre. She made this wonderful face bags for me. Please do follow her on Facebook and on Instagram, and get your damn face mask, guys. All right. Hand stitch and handmade. And our feed on Instagram just finished. So please do tell everybody that that we're on Facebook now. So we're on Facebook and on YouTube. So everybody
So I
can
take it.
Huh?
I take it the echo went away, right?
Yeah, it went away now.
So
and oh, wait, something else. They just sent me these two beauties.
see, now that's something you don't see much.
Handmade.
De trapo.
Yeah, de trapo. Someone just sent me these two beauties.
Or as they say in English, rag dolls.
Yes, rag dolls.
It is so exciting.
Shh.
So just to wrap up the point with the Alekes, Tata.
Yes.
So
hey, babe.
The point is that there has to be a level of understanding in everything that you do. So if you're gonna go, we're in Eleke, understand that what makes it an Eleke. Eleke is a sacred necklace.
Mm-hmm.
So by you buying it at the Botanica, that's not sacred.
Right.
Okay. It has to go through what? The ceremonial process.
Right.
So you buying necklaces at a Botanica and putting them on, you're not doing anything except literally disrespecting the entire process of worship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you might think in your mind, because you can go to a new age shop and buy certain statues and start giving reverence. You can't do that with certain deities such as Orishas, because Orishas are revered heavily through ceremony. So if you're not going through ceremony with Orisha, then quite frankly, leave them alone.
Right. Right.
You know? Now, remember what I said, there's no limit to spirit. So that's not to say that a person that is not initiated cannot have an encounter with an Orisha, meaning, let's say Deidre, right? Deidre's not initiated in Osha, right?
Right.
Okay. So now Deidre comes to you and says, Padrino, I had a dream, Oshun. I had the spirit that presented. She said she was Oshun, and she told me blah, 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 all that. She remembers it clearly. Who the hell are we to say that wasn't Oshun?
Right.
Who are we to say that Oshun does not have the power to do that?
Right.
So Oshun can do what she may. So
right.
I share to Deidre and having that connection. However, so now if Deidre goes, oh, Oshun came to me, she blessed me, and now she goes in Amazon and orders a statue that says Oshun on it and puts it on a glass shelf and says, this is my shrine to Oshun. Wrong.
Right.
Now you're disrespecting Oshun. Oshun, the way you rever Oshun is through what? Ceremonial practice.
Right.
So therefore, if you really love Oshun and you want to pay her respect, then you have to go through initiation.
Right.
You have to follow what the process is. Buying statues.
Well, I got several people, bro, that are not godchildren, but that are friends, and some want to be godchildren and stuff of that sort. Okay. And they will hit me up and they'll say, hey, listen, can I offer something to Oshun? Can I offer something to your Oshun? And I'm like, okay, well, let me see what Oshun says. Mi madre, will you accept this, blah, 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 as a gift, whatever. Yes, bam. And they bring whatever they want, and they bring it to my Oshun, or to my Chango, or to my Yemaya. Okay? And they are actually giving reverence to those energies. Okay? Now that I can go for more than a person saying, let's oh, you have this problem? Well, you need to go to the river and go give Oshun 3 calabazas, 3 pumpkins with this and this and this and this and this and this and this, when they actually do not divine on it, do not have any connection to it, and do not know any actual adimus or ebos. Okay? As we both know, when you come to the river, okay, the rivers have several entities by them, okay? There's one that lives on the shore of the river, There's one that lives inside the river. There's one that lives up under the fucking river, you know, under the fucking water. You understand what I'm saying, Papa? So who's to say that this place that you're going to, this river, was not consecrated or prayed to or how do you call this, manifested to a whole other fucking spirit that has nothing to do with fucking Orisha? You understand? Not every crossroad is your fucking crossroad. It's not. You understand? So I often tell people, man, listen, you got to be careful when you're out there doing these fucking so-called obras or works. Because, bro, as we know, we live in a place where there's a lot of fucking spirituality. Okay? We got hoodoo, we got Native Americans, we got shamans, we have fucking diabolic motherfuckers that do shit. You know what I'm saying? Fine. But who's to say that that river or that place that you're going to wasn't manifested and wasn't worked on for another deity? Not all rivers lead to Oshun, Papa. I'm sorry. Because that's the world that we live in, that is spiritual, you know, mundane, mixed up conglomerate of spirits that we live in, right? You see people, bueno, vamos para la ceiba. Well, do you know that the ceiba is actually a tree that is revered in more than one spirituality? Mm-hmm. It's just not Ocha. It's just not Palo. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's why I try to tell people, man, always divine, you know, even before going inside of the cemetery. ¿Cuánto espíritu no hay en un cementerio? How much spirits are in the cemetery? There's the gatekeeper. There's the one that brings you inside the cemetery. Then there's the one that's inside the hole. There's the one that takes care of the hole. You know what I'm saying? And even in hoodoo and conjure and many of other things, there's different energies. You need to find out what different energy is. You just said your Shun, right? How about Ibukule? How about you know, there's different ones, and people don't get this. You know, there's different aspects to all these spiritualities. Whether it's in Ocha, whether it's in Palo, whether it's in any kind of spirituality. And I'm sorry, I just got on a soapbox, but I just want to make this important to people, how important it is to know what the hell you're working with.
Right. That's why I emphasized energy, because in all those aspects that you brought up, all those traditions, it's all energy. Whether you want to call it Shango, whether you want to call it Archangel Saint Michael, whether you want to call it Thor, it's an energy.
Right.
And that energy behaves. And in that manifestation of behavior, you have what? Character.
Right.
And character is what gives birth to a name.
Right.
Okay. So in that aspect, you have Thor. In that other aspect, you have Shango, for example. You have Freda. You have Oshun. You have Isis, so on and so forth. So the important thing is to understand energy. When you understand energy, having a title such as a shaman, a brujo, a witch, a priest, those are all fancy names that all mean the same thing at the end of the day, which is what? A person that can manipulate energy.
Right.
A shaman, difference between a shaman and a witch is a broad term, because it's
a European term. Let's be for real. Except if you were my padrino and my tata, él decía voy a trabajar el brujo. Mm-hmm. But then, of course, he separated himself from all that other stuff. No, yo soy brujo. You understand what I'm saying? That's what he was. And again, it has a different name and a different connotation and a different interpretation from English to Spanish.
Right. That's what I wanted to emphasize is you have differences in language, you have differences in culture, and then the tradition itself. But the term witch is a broad term for a person that deals with energy.
Right.
Shaman is a witch that heals. You cannot be a shaman and not be a healer.
Right.
That's the emphasis of the word shaman, is to heal through what? Through manipulating energy.
Right.
The witch, okay, the witch is a general term. Okay, what type of witch are you? And this is where you get the different terms.
Yeah, the
of
two-handed
witches.
worker, the two-handed this, so whatever. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's energy. You need to understand energy. So if you're going to go to, as you were saying, going to the river, and you have no understanding of energy, then you're not going to know what you're doing. You're not going to know, as you said, you're coming here. There's an energy there, but that ain't no shoe.
Mm-hmm.
There's an energy there, but that's not your guide. That's not your muerto that accompanied you. That's something else. So it's important to understand what energy is. And when you're a student, right, learn about yourself is to learn about the energy within you and around you.
Mm-hmm.
In Spanish, we call that fluidos, the corriente espiritual. So if you don't understand that energy feeling, you're going to be misled constantly. You're always going to be a person que tiene causas, that has negative spirits attached to you. This is why there's people that son espiritual, but you look at their life. Now understand that no one is perfect. You know why? Here's my explanation and my understanding of this. Perfection means to be complete. You can no longer give or take from it. You can't add or subtract. Leave it alone. It's complete, right? Now, everything is energy. So when you look at energy wants to expand. Mm-hmm. And when energy cannot expand, it contracts. And when it contracts, it ends up expanding because it implodes.
Right.
The contraction is considered the negative aspect. The expansion is considered the positive aspect. At the end of the day, energy is still going to expand. So what does that tell you right there? That it's never complete. So therefore, it cannot be perfect.
Right.
So if energy, which is everything, cannot be perfect, how the hell can you consider yourself to be perfect or something or someone?
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's craziness.
Right.
So energy is energy, which is the power or the ability to become anything. What guides that is consciousness.
Right.
Consciousness is the ability to think. When you increase consciousness, you become what? Your energy becomes more powerful because it's able to become more things, not by chance, but by direction. Mm-hmm. So when you're a tata, when you're a brujo, when you're a shaman, when you're a witch, and you have that understanding, your quote unquote magic is much more powerful, much more effective than the next. Mm-hmm. That's what makes people have what they call ashe. Ashe is energy / blessing. Mm-hmm. So there are people that have been practicing Palo Mayombe for 30 plus years, right? They quote unquote, they have 12 Ngangas, all kinds of stuff, right? I personally have been under attack by certain people of nobility in certain traditions, whether it's Ocha, mm-hmm. such as or Ifa, even Babalaos, mm-hmm. that have Osain. You have Tatas. And a lot of them right now are mother effing and scratching their heads because I'm still breathing, mm-hmm. because I'm still having success on a certain level. And they're like, how can this be? How can this be? Mm-hmm. Who the hell is this dude? And it's not because I'm this great tata. It's not because I'm sitting here, I got these badass selectors. What I credit it is two things. Number one, the spirits that accompany me. And why do they accompany me? Is it because I'm this big special dude? No, I don't believe that. I believe it's because of character. And some people argue this, but remember what I said. Ego is the enemy. Ego will push away spirits that lose, spirits of higher consciousness. Mm-hmm. When you have a genuine good character, Spirits know what your destiny is. They know what you are trying to do.
Right.
They on themselves will come to your side. So there's cantazos, there's hits that you're gonna take, but they're trying to kill you. They ain't trying to knock me out. They're trying to remove life.
Right.
And that's not happening. Why? Because of esa bendición, because of that blessing.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as I continue to acknowledge that, you know what, I need to just remain Juan G and not Juan G el maestro, Juan G the badass. Because when I do that, that is when I will, yo me caí. That is when I will fall. For sure. For sure. So I have an understanding of, and think about this, where does character emanate from?
Right.
Behavior. Where does behavior come from? Consciousness.
All right. Okay. Let's take a little break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about accuracy by Juan G, spiritual services, and all that good stuff. And let's talk about your group on Facebook, of course. Guys, you're listening to It's 12 O'Clock Somewhere with our special guest, Juan G, from Accuracy by Juan G. I am Candelo Kimbisa. We'll be right back. Oh, wrong song.
I'm mad, but it was by chance. I
ready for myself in the
Shango dance. Some said I'm mad, but it was by chance. I ready for myself in the Shango dance. The drum was beating out the boom boom, and then the people shouted for Saba. And when I fell sang, oh sign on day, yeah, oh sign on day, I go. Oh, sign of it, oh, sign of it, oh. I lie on the ground as if I were dead, and then the priest come lift up my head. So I start to dance in salutation to the folk who gave me inspiration. Though they say that the saint was a judge, some said I dance, oh sign and a batala, and when I fell in song, oh sign of the day, 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 and when I started dancing the Ajaja, they said I got to invoke the Abatala. So in order to do the invocation, I have to use all and perspiration. Do the drum beat, go, my baila mi go, ting bang and oh sign on it, oh sign on it, oh sign on it,
All right, guys, that was from the Shango dance. It is called Old Sign All Day. All right, brother. So let's talk about accuracy by John. Let's by Juan, sorry. Let's talk about your Facebook group, which has a hell of a lot of people, which I happen to be a moderator on, but I don't really do that much moderating because I'm always doing 10 things at one time. Please, let's talk about accuracy by John. What is accuracy by Juan? Sorry.
Well, first of all, let me start off with you being a moderator. It's, as you know, you're being nice about it. Candelo's on there as the title is moderator, but that's not his function.
Mm-hmm.
Candelo's function is to be Candelo Kimbisa. Ashe. Keep it moving. I was blessed with being able to associate myself with people like Candelo Sancista and others, Janet Davis, George Strouder, that are what I call the divine team. And what that is once again, it's not about ego. I know I can't do everything myself. I certainly don't know everything. And for example, doing readings alone, I have a full-time job aside from doing spiritual services. So there's only X amount of hours, X amount of readings I can do to help people.
Mm-hmm.
There's 6.7 million people or billion people on this planet. If you were to say half of that, 3.3 billion people looking for readings, can I service that?
Right.
Hell no. So to be of service, it's, you know what? I have to help. My job is to help guide people, whether it's myself or someone else that is capable or more than capable. So I devised a divine team where, listen, there's people that trust me for I have proven myself to them.
Mm-hmm.
Every person knows someone else that needs help, that needs guidance. So through their trust, through their faith in me, they're connected to someone like you, someone like Sancista. And as you know, when you look at yourselves, there's things that you offer that Sancista doesn't, and vice versa.
Right.
So now, just the three of us alone just became a cavern of possibilities to help certain people.
Mm-hmm.
That is the blessing of my group. My group is not the traditional readings group where everybody logs on the wall and wants a card pulled or their picture read. It's more about connecting to what I call divine sources. And what is divine? Divine is energy that emanates for creation. What is creation? Life, things that grow, that expand. So people like you that are leading people with the information that they need to better guide themselves, they're going to grow as a person.
Mm-hmm.
That's Ashe. That's what I call divine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the group is about. Then I have the service page, Accuracy by Juan G Spiritual Services, and that is my direct page for people to contact me for readings or for other services that I offer, such as healings, such as chakra harmonizing, spiritual court readings, and then of course my infamous Archangel spiritual necklaces.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you something about that. I don't know if we had the direct conversation about it. I did speak about it on a live. That was something very scary, and it was a huge turning point in my life.
Mm-hmm.
More so than Ocha. Because understand, Ocha has, on my mother's side, has been in the family since I was a kid. And I heard all the horror stories. Okay? I was born in 1974. The year 2000, I forgot how old I was, but in the year 2000, I said to myself, I am not going to worry about what so-and-so thinks.
Mm-hmm.
I lived my life trying to be the quote-unquote good boy. I was always an honor roll student. Okay, I always tried to do good. I was worried about failure. I was worried about what somebody was going to say. That affected me. I didn't have anxiety, but I had that stigma of lo demás, those
Right.
around me. Year 2000, it was like an epiphany where, you know what, que se joda todo mundo. To hell with everybody else. Do what you want to do. In the year 2000, I went and I bought a drum set, a 9-piece drum set.
Right.
I set it up by myself. I had Mary J. Blige, the album 411.
Right.
And I had LL Cool J, I forgot the name of that album. I put those two on and I started playing.
Right.
The drums. Bro, it came natural.
Right.
So much that got into certain groups, and next thing you know, I was playing out.
Right.
I bought timbales. Next thing you know, I'm playing in Latin jazz band.
Right.
Playing timbales. Okay. I was in the church at that time. I was in the Catholic Church. The movement at that time was trying to remember the name of it, but it was charismatic. The charismatic movement, and what it was for the Catholic Church was they were losing a lot of membership to the Pentecostals.
Right.
And Puerto Rico predominantly was Catholic. And in the time of John Paul II, it started switching over to Pentecostal.
Mm-hmm.
And the major reason was because of the way they did their service. As you know, most Catholic services, man, you're falling asleep.
Bro, imagine when I was a kid having to go to Catholic thing. They did it all in Latin. They didn't even have Spanish or English or none of that shit.
Yeah, that's brutal. So when you bring up music is I would say there's music for different occasions, for different vibes, for different feelings. So I was in that Catholic movement. I played the drums, and I was told that I minister through the drums, that people felt the energy when I played. And I played out in New Jersey. I went to Elizabeth, New Jersey for the first time in my life. I live in Connecticut. And even though I traveled up and down, I never went to certain places. So being involved in that brought me to different avenues that I wasn't exposed to.
Right.
So I was feeling energies. And then we did these, they call it cursos, courses, sort of like spiritual retreats. Long story short, all that was based on inducing energies.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if you call it Jesucristo, Jesus Christ, or if you call it Shango, you're calling on an energy. When you call an energy of a certain vibration, it is going to react.
Right.
It is going to react. The difference is your consciousness knowing what the hell it is.
Right.
And as you know, because in certain traditions, you're not taught consciousness. Right. Therefore, you don't know.
Right.
You just buy that label that, oh, esto es Jesús. That's the Holy Spirit. Oh, this is God. So my question always was, well, if there's a Holy Spirit, then there must be spirits. Because why would you add the holy to it? Why would you have to define it? Because at the same time, the teaching was you couldn't even think of spirit. It was like spirits was bad. Spirits was evil.
Right.
So you're telling me there's a bunch of evil spirits and then there's only one Holy Spirit? Like
right.
Things don't make sense. So one thing I found in that tradition, I'm not knocking, it is what it is. The more questions you would ask, the less answers you would get.
And the more you would be ostracized.
So, right. And then when you get into certain groups, like if you even go to like Bible study groups, whatever, you start asking the questions, then you're challenging authority. So then you must act like the sheep. And what do sheep do? Sheep converse? No, they follow. They follow. So it was like, no. I'm in the wrong spirituality. I need to step from this. So I went searching.
Right.
You're hearing it from the horse's mouth. I negated Ocha. And the reason why was it wasn't because of the Orishas. It was because I put too much faith in the quote-unquote elders.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, this is why I say at the end of the day, people are people. No matter what consecration they have done on them, if they have bad character, they have bad character. It is going to exude. And this is where you get misled. This is where you get taken advantage of. Well, this is where you think
you want to laugh, man, but I've been a palero now over 30 years, okay? And although I received my warriors first. Okay, so I've had my warriors for over 30 something years. Okay, and I also used to negate things because of that mindset. Okay, you are a palero. Okay, that's all the fuck you need. You know, that's those people. You know what I'm saying? I really came from that old school. Okay, and now you see the same thing going about in the Ocha community. Oh, you're in Ocha. Leave Paulo alone. Paulo is not right. Okay, esa gente tan atrasada. You know what I'm saying? You heard him say es un atraso.
Yeah, they made it evil.
Yeah, so they make it sound like it's something and it's just as old and just as beautiful as the spirituality. You know what I'm saying? There's a big misconception about Paulo because you remember back in the 90s how everybody was, I'll stick a paper inside the chicken's ass and I'll kill you. And I used to call them chicken sodomizers. Pero it was part of the times. Okay. And I tell people, before you talk about it, let's meet a person in the spirituality. You understand what I'm saying? One of my best friends, okay, is Jewish, okay, and everybody knows this. One of my other best friends is a Ugan in Haitian voodoo, and I honestly do not see any atraso in it. I don't see anything backwards in any of those spiritualities. What I see atrasos in are the people that are practicing certain spiritualities. You understand? And it goes back to our thing about ego. And it goes back to our conversation about ego, And, well, I guess that's all I got to say. Do you want to close up with something, Juan? Because I got some food to eat. I got some painting to paint.
Well, I just want to say, I want to thank you for the opportunity to come on and shed some light on my experiences and accuracy and the wonderful people that I've been blessed to work within the group. But my main message to everyone watching that is hungry and is searching for understanding is, number one, have patience. It is not an overnight process.
Right.
Okay. Number two is you have to have some me time. Make sure that you take time for yourself. Make sure that you have spiritual time where it's just you, whether it's a corner, whether you're in front of your altar, whether you're laying in your bed, to have that spiritual moment that you can connect. Even though you might not know who the guide is, you're searching for knowledge that will help you progress and maintain good character. And I can guarantee you that at the end of the day, you will be blessed. You will understand and receive what we call ashe.
All right. Juan, tell people where they can find you at. Tell them where they can contact you at. I know that you do Facebook Lives at least once a week. Tell them where they can follow you, where they can get some of this wonderful knowledge that you have.
Absolutely. I am one of the old school, slow schools where right now I'm primarily Facebook. So you can look me up on facebook.com/accuracy by Juan G. That'll take you to my spiritual page. And then if you take the time to look through there, you will find my group page where you can have access to all the wonderful divine team members that I have in the group, such as Candelo, Sancista, George, so on and so forth.
All right, guys, you know me. I am Candelo Kimbisa. All right. You can find me at all things Kimbisa, baby. Make sure that you like and you share this broadcast. If you're not following us on all the other social media platforms, please do yourself a favor and follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on all our social media platforms. All right. And if you want to share some love, baby, our PayPal is down there. Our Cash App is down there. Share some love, baby, because I took away at least $300 talking to you motherfuckers. All right. As always, may all the egoons and shadows that accompany you have all the necessary light. From where Juan G and myself sit, that is it, everybody. Salam alaikum. Have a wonderful weekend. Wash your ass and don't go out there. It's still bad. Bye-bye.
Light and blessings.
Oh.
No te montas. Candulero.
Soy cangulero, brisa que viento me lleva, brisa que viento me lleva andar, brisa que viento me lleva, soy cangulero, brisa que viento me lleva, brisa que viento me lleva andar, brisa que viento me lleva, soy cangulero, brisa que viento me lleva, brisa que viento me lleva andar, brisa que viento me lleva, soy cangulero, brisa que viento me lleva. Brisa que viento me lleva a nadar, brisa que viento me lleva, soy cangulero, brisa que viento me lleva, brisa que viento me lleva a nadar, brisa que viento me lleva, soy cangulero, brisa que viento me lleva, brisa que viento me lleva a nadar, brisa que viento me lleva, soy cangulero.